Boo! Haha! Good evening. I am Count Chester. Welcome to my review channel. Just kidding. Just a second. I had to take those fangs off. If I'm honest, they were kind of uncomfortable. So, yeah, welcome to my review channel. In case you don't know, which you probably do, I do reviews of all sorts of things. Everything from Doctor Who to Universal Monsters to Marvel to, well, anything that tickles my fancy. That's a saying, right? Tickles my fancy, takes my fancy, something like that. Through the month of October, I am going to be devoting my reviews to all things spooky. For it is the season of the spooks, when vampires come out for their meals, ghosts come out for a swing and wake, and werewolves come out for victims. Ha 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 ha! And for this first video for the Halloween season, I have decided to go with the top 5 new series Doctor Who episodes to watch on Halloween. Or, you know, anytime during the Halloween month. Coming in at number 5, The Vampires of Venice. 2010. Nostalgia reigns supreme for this one. Back when we were all having a great time on this journey discovering this new Doctor and how Moffat was going to handle his new job as showrunner. Or at least, I was having a great time. I'm sure there were some who disliked it just as much as I dislike the Chibnall era now, and that's fine. Series 5 might still be my favorite season of the new series, though. While not one of the best episodes of that season, I think this is still a lot of fun. It's got spooky vampires in 1500s Venice, the Doctor trying to fix Amy and Rory's romance instead of becoming the love interest, which I really appreciated at the time, and who could forget that library card? My geek excitement level went through the roof when that came up, let me tell you. As far as Halloweenness goes, the reveal does possibly come a bit soon of the fish people, but even when the fish people are revealed, it still works. I mean, after all, if blood-sucking fish people are going to come to Europe, where else would they go but Venice? It's built on a river and very well populated. It's perfect. And hey, they're still monsters, so still Halloween. Number 4 on my list, Mummy on the Orient Express. This is one of those Doctor Who episodes where the setting is just so imaginative, you can't help but admire the creativity. Having said that, I'm not sure the episode lives up entirely to the concept. But that's not to say it's a bad episode. I don't think that at all. I mean, it is on my list after all. And I think it's overall a really good episode. The best episode to feature a mummy since Pyramids of Mars. So yeah, the majority of this episode I really like. I think when I first saw it, I wasn't really too fond of the whole Clara breakup, Danny Pink, blah 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 storyline. So when I first saw it, maybe that colored it for me and I wasn't as fond of it, but since then, I've rewatched it and I really liked it. The makeup of the mummy is great. The clock thing, I think that's a cool idea. The only thing is, I wish we could find out someday who Gus was. That was a storyline that was never picked up. I would like it to be, even if it's just like comics or Big Finish or something. I think that'd be really cool. And number 4 on the list, Tooth and Claw. Who doesn't love ninja monks? Well, me, I was never too fond of that aspect. Thought it was a bit silly. But one thing I do love, werewolves. The idea of a man turning into a beast is an idea that always fascinated me a bit. If you've watched Westerford and Smith, the series I'm in at all, you'll know I had a run-in with that personally for a few episodes. Not a pleasant experience. But yeah, I think this one is kind of part of a trilogy they sort of had going on for the first 3 seasons of the new series. You know, a historical figure versus a supernatural monster. Sounds like a horrible idea for a movie, but great idea for a Doctor Who episode. I think it was a great idea that I wouldn't mind seeing revived should RTD wish to do so in the coming seasons. There's just something about historical celebrities fighting monsters that just goes together like fish fingers and custard. Doesn't feel like it should go together, but kinda does. Number 2 on the list, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. I may have mentioned on this channel before that I really, really, really loved this episode. It's one of the few in the Chibnall era that are actually really, really, really fantastic. If you've been paying attention, you probably realize that one of my other fandoms that I'm in besides Doctor Who is the Universal classic monsters, such as Dracula, the Wolfman, the Mummy, and of course, Frankenstein. So, being a horror aficionado as I am, You can imagine that I was over the moon when I heard there was going to be an episode where the Doctor met Mary Shelley. I mean, I was also a little mixed because, Big Finish. But I soon headcanon a way to fit both the 8th and 13th Doctors together so that the two Mary Shelley storylines can coexist without any problems. But yeah, I think this episode is awesome. Finally, after trying a few times, Doctor Who finally does a haunted house story right. And I mean really right. I mean, they tried before with like Hyde and Knock Knock, but those two never really worked out for me. This one is both strange and proper creepy. Even when the solution is discovered and the Cybermen appears, it doesn't take away from the creepiness. It kind of adds to it. Shad as a concept is so excellently weird and scary. The whole solution overall is just as dark and creepy, if not more so, than the place actually being haunted. Speaking of it actually being haunted, kudos to the writer for those two unexplained ghosts. There's a part of me that would love to discover the solution behind that presumably mother and daughter team, but then there's also a bigger part of me that thinks they are much better left unexplained. Yeah, this is without a doubt my favorite episode of the Chibnall-Whittaker era so far. I really hope Maxine Alderton comes back to write more episodes at some point, because this is just so good. The only reason it doesn't get top pick is because it is basically part one of a 3-part finale, and so can't be separated as well as the others, but otherwise it would have been number one. But since it's not number one, the top pick has to go to The Unquiet Dead. I had a hard time trying to decide whether this should even go on the list as an actual pick or an honorable mention, due to it also being very much a Christmas story. Really, this could go very well with either holiday, but since it wasn't aired at Christmas, and since it's not the first Halloween movie to have Christmas elements to it, you can debate in the comments below as to whether The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie, but I believe Danny Elfman actually came out and said that it's actually a Halloween movie, so I tend to go with that. Either way, I decided The Unquiet Dead is fair game for a Halloween episode. Recently I did my top 5 Eccleston stories, and this made the cut of that as well. It's just such an excellent story. Of the modern series, this is without a doubt the best attempt at a standalone horror story, and definitely Mark Gatiss' best entries for the show. This one is another win for me as one who enjoys creepy horror stories. It's got great atmosphere, great production design, a terrific performance by Simon Callow as one of the greatest authors of all time, Charles Dickens, and as with Villa Diodati, the explanation doesn't take away from the creepiness. They may be gas creatures from space, but they are still ghost-like beings who inhabit dead bodies. That's almost worse than a dead loved one coming back to life. Yeah, a great episode and top of this list for me. So yeah, that's my list. What do you guys think? What are your favorite Doctor Who episodes to watch for Halloween? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you Wednesday for my next Halloween video. Goodbye.
Yes, we'll be waiting, Chester.
Hello? Funny. Thought I heard a voice. No one in here but me, though. Huh. Okay. Guess I better stop recording.